Welcome to the Know-It-All for the week of June 12th. This week we've got Halo 5 details, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is playable early, for a select few at least, and there's apparently a scorpion loose in the office, so I've been twitching and swatting at my legs pretty much the whole damn day. Anyway, let's start with video game news. E3 is just around the corner, and companies have already started having pre-E3 press conferences. Now, one such event was held yesterday by Oculus. They unveiled the consumer model of the Oculus Rift that'll hit shelves early next year, but sadly, still no drilled down specs or a solid price point. There was, however, the announcement that Oculus will be partnering with Microsoft and shipping their headsets with an Xbox One controller at launch, which pissed off a lot of people apparently. Now, Oculus will branch out on its own controller, which they also showcased. It'll feature a half-moon hand grip type thing and be able to utilize gesture controls as well as traditional triggers, buttons, and a joystick. I have no faith that it'll work well, but maybe I'll be wrong. Also, I got Ryan to do this.
I am all that is man.
It's good to work at Rooster Teeth. Moving on to more pre-E3 news of the less planned variety, various leaks spoiled the release of two new consoles. And by new, I mean slight redesigns of the existing PS4 and Xbox One. Very slight. The slightly different PS4 will feature a 1TB hard drive and use just a little less power. The not really new Xbox One will also have a 1TB hard drive, which actually has already been available as part of the special edition Call of Duty Advanced Warfare bundle, but now it'll be available without that, and it'll have a new controller. The controller will feature a 35mm headphone jack right on the controller, which should have been there from launch, not being salty, and the redesign was leaked by Microsoft themselves, who updated their schematic on their website before its official announcement. Good job, guys. Speaking of Microsoft, there was lots of Halo 5 news this week, thanks to Game Informer, and the Funhaus guys broke it all down. Now, the biggest bullet points included the return of Fred, Linda, and Kelly as part of Chief's Blue Team. Nathan Fillion will also make his return as Edward Buck as part of Locke's Fireteam Osiris, which sounds like a really bad cartoon. And the news that 343 plans to release all of the DLC multiplayer maps for free to avoid dividing the player base. Now, that is very cool. There was also the revelation that Agent Locke will be able to show players alternate routes through levels using his Artemis tracking system, and sadly that Halo 5 will not feature local split screen. Liboo. There are a lot more details, like I said, in the full update, plus the guys give Adam a hard time for loving Halo, and it makes me feel for him. He loves all the novels. Now, to segue into people giving other people a hard time, to say the very least, legendary video game movie director Uwe Boll released a series of YouTube videos this week in which he had this to say to everyone.
Fuck yourself.
What a nice guy. Boll was angry that his Kickstarter for Rampage 3 No Mercy wasn't going well, with just 3 days left, and apparently decided the best way to tell everyone to give him money was to say,
fuck yourself.
He also shared wise words like,
you're easier giving $600,000 if you make a movie about some retarded wizard in the forest.
Just amazing. Now that I'm sure your day is totally ruined by some hack director yelling at you, how about a little something to cheer you up? Ubisoft announced this week that gamers in the Los Angeles area would have a chance to play Assassin's Creed Syndicate months ahead of its October release, and would have the chance to discuss their feedback directly with the developers, provided you're at least 17 and can actually be physically present at the event. You'll also need to write a short essay that hopefully includes the phrase blankety blankety blank, because it makes me happy. And finally, a quick tidbit, DICE also announced this week that the next Mirror's Edge game will be called Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and rather than continue where Mirror's Edge 1 left off, Catalyst will dive into the backstory of the game's protagonist, Faith, in an attempt to fully realize the vision they set out with the last game. It basically was a case of, we think we had a good idea last time, we didn't nail the execution, we're trying it again. That's all the news for this week, but for more video game news and discussion, check out this week's episode of The Patch, where Gus, Ryan, and I give our predictions for what we'll see at E3, and we drink some really disgusting rum. It was horrible. We'll be broadcasting live episodes of The Patch on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday live from E3 next week, so please pray for my liver, and don't tell him anything about Hearthstone. On this week's episode of The Patch Video Game Book Club, we played Long Live the Queen, and surprisingly, everybody loved it, even Ryan. Now, since we're out of the office next week, we'll be back in 2 weeks with Shovel Knight. That's all for this episode of the Know-It-All. Don't forget, like I've said already, we'll be at E3 next week, so be sure to check out youtube.com/E3 for all of the awesomeness. We'll have live demos, exclusive interviews, live podcasts, and lots of us making fools of ourselves. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited. So we'll see you there, and have a great weekend, guys. Heart you!